Well, moving ahead, and by the way, this is an ongoing story. We'll have much more to say about this next week as it develops. But speaking of banana Republican actions, did I say banana Republican? Yes, I guess I did. Banana Republic actions. Bill C-11. Sheila, this is a disgrace. It's headed back to the Senate, I guess, again for debate and royal assent. It's past third reading. Are the senators going to stand up for once? Well, they sort of did last year with the Emergencies Act, or are they going to say, and this is what I presume they're going to say, well, it came to us already. We asked for amendments, which were ignored, of course. And the prime minister, he simply is hell-bent on getting this through. So what are we going to do? I think that's what they're going to say.
Well, and what C-11 does is it forces broadcasters, and that doesn't mean just like the old terrestrial failing broadcasters or cable or satellite. It means YouTube, Rumble, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, any of the streaming platforms. Basically, the government has the ability to tell them what they should serve up.
Yes.
To the eyeballs of their customers, as opposed to them deciding or you deciding as a viewer. What it will do is make it easier for the government to tell these platforms. You see Rebel News, they're not a QCJO news outlet.
Yeah.
A qualified Canadian journalistic outlet, which is like the rubber stamp from the government that says, yes, you're a journalist, which is, again, the kind of thing they do in Cuba and Venezuela, Russia, China. We don't do that in a free society, and our charter actually prohibits that. But what it does is it gives the government the ability to say to YouTube, actually, you can't have them appearing in people's suggested next videos or whatever, because you need to put the unwatchable CBC there first, because they're a QCJO. What this does is it just gives the government the ability to hide their political enemies and largest critics. I mean, this bill is directed at us. We know it is.
Oh, yeah.
Because Rebel News exists only on the internet. People will say, like, why don't you guys try to get on cable? Or why don't you guys try to get on satellite? Old-fashioned TV. There's a reason for that. We got onto the internet because we could be free. There was a bureaucracy that couldn't touch us on the internet. Now Justin Trudeau wants to grow that monster just to smother the freedom that people fled to away from terrestrial broadcasting. And it passed third reading last night. It's headed to the Senate, and Poilievre had some things to say about it. And so did my favorite, Denise Batters. She had things to say about it. And of course, that idiot stick, Mark Gerritsen, had stuff to say about it too.
Yeah, Mark Gerritsen, of course, that's the same Mark Gerritsen that earlier this week challenged independent MP Mr. Vuong to a fist fight outside the
Or
House
what? I don't know. Like, after I went back and watched it, and I was like, is Mark really that dumb to challenge him to a fist fight? Possibly. Likely. But I think maybe he wanted him to step outside so that he wasn't covered by parliamentary privilege, so he could like sue him for saying things that are true, as liberals tend to do. But also Mark is dumb enough to fist fight a colleague or former colleague in that case. We should go to this vid of, do we have a vid of the, oh yeah, we do. Gerritsen.
Yeah.
In the House, talking about the opposition potentially spreading misinformation about Bill C-11.
That's rich.
While he was actually spreading misinformation about C-11. Just a dumb guy. Dumb.
My question for the member is, we hear, and I know that he hears, a lot of rhetoric and a lot of misinformation, a lot of disinformation, in particular around suggesting that rights are going to be trampled upon with this legislation. I can't help but think of my own childhood. Mr. Speaker, when I grew up, I grew up watching TV Ontario, being exposed to shows like Today's Special and The Polka Dot Door Or I look at my kids now, who are my youngest two, who are 4 and 6, and they're watching all of this content that's on YouTube. No idea where it's being generated from. My question.
Oh, hang on for a second, Mark. It's not my fault that you're letting your kids watch YouTube unsupervised and letting them wander into the dark recesses of the internet. If you want them to watch the unwatchable pokeroo, be a parent and supervise what they're watching. Do not control what I get to see.
Or Sheila, direct them to the government-funded and approved media outlet, CBC, and have them watch, what is it, Faye and Fluffy, or is that on another network? But transgender or drag queen story time for children. Maybe that would be a better television babysitter for Mark's kids.
Like, why do these people think that people watch Netflix or Paramount or Amazon Prime or YouTube or Rumble? Like, why do they think people watch it? For me, a lot of times it's to get away from the insufferable CanCon shoved down your throat every time you turn on terrestrial TV. And yet they keep coming. Mark Delahunty keeps coming. And David Suzuki keeps coming for you. You can't escape them. They're like zombies. Every time you turn around, there they are, marching up to say something wrong and stupid. Yep. And you can't even escape from them anymore to like YouTube, Rumble, whatever. Nope. People like Mark Gerritsen are going to make sure that you watch what he wants you to watch because I don't know, because he can't supervise his kids on the internet. Maybe be a dad and put your kid in front of something that you okay them to watch. Don't let YouTube be the babysitter. But apparently, according to Mark, because he needs YouTube to be his babysitter, I don't get to watch whatever I want.
Yeah. And Sheila, I'm so happy that when you were listing off all those platforms, you did not mention Disney Plus. That shows you are an apt pupil.
I canceled it.
Yes, because Chrystia Freeland, our Minister of Finance, that's her solution to balancing your budget at home.
As if that lady canceled her subscription. Her kids would eat her alive if she got rid of The Mandalorian. I know it.
Oh, there's no way she can, if anyone out there can get access to Chrystia Freeland's cable bill.
No, don't be a weirdo. Don't. You'll have people going through her garbage. Like,
are there any whistleblowers at Rogers or Bell Media? No, what am I saying? They're knee deep in government funding too, so they're not going to rock that boat.
Should we keep going on this topic, or should we move ahead?
I think so. And by the way, because I think we have another video.
Yeah.
And it's in regard to the Online News Act. This is C-18, I believe. And by the way, before we throw to it, folks, if you want the most adroit analysis of C-11, please go to Ezra Levant's New Year's Eve broadcast. He made it while he was overseas, but it was so important. And it perfectly frames the kind of censorious direction this nation is going to. So if you somehow search up Ezra Levant, December 31st, 2022, you'll see what I'm talking about. So why don't we throw this clip because it only gets worse, folks.
Spoke about earlier that employs a business model of putting their content behind a paywall and charging a subscription fee. Yet this government, the Trudeau government, has been embroiled in years-long legal battle with Blacklocks because government departments and offices keep sharing their content without paying the subscription. Wow. That's why they've been before the courts for years. Think about it. This government is out there telling you that we must support free and open journalism and that these journalists must be fairly compensated for their work. Noble. All the while, they're openly circumventing Blacklock's paywall and outright infringing on their copyright. That is actually stealing. Spoke about earlier.
Yeah.
Isn't that something, Sheila?
I should tell everybody what's happening here. So, and the journalists, by the way, in the Parliamentary Press Gallery, they enforce this attack on Blacklocks through their garbage. So Blacklock's one of the best independent journalists in this country. It is an exciting day for me if I can beat Blacklock's to a story. That's a clip from something we call Rebel News Daily. It's our daily live stream hosted by my friend David Menzies, but the show also includes a rotating cast of hosts and special guests, including me. It's a great way for us to talk about the news of the day as the news is happening in an unscripted fashion, and it's an awesome way for you to interact with us as well. We stream every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Mountain, wherever you find Rebel News. See you there.